I hate trying to describe the plot of the movie as good as it gets, because the plot is essentially what happens when three people who should not be friends become friends. One being kind of like a really, really mean writer and author of these like really, really good stories and romantic novels. One being a single mom who gets attracted to the writer, and she doesn't see just how much of a dick he is. It's almost like he doesn't have that inner filter where you kind of filter out saying really mean shit in front of people, and he just doesn't get how fucking mean he is. This being Jack Nicholson's character, and Helen Hunt being the waitress and single mom. And her friend is Greg Kinnear, and Greg Kinnear gets wrapped up into the story because he lets Jack Nicholson take care of his dog while he's trying to get better after being mugged and home invaded by a man who he thinks he's opening up to, this really, really beautiful man who he's letting, like, pose for him, and he's trying to, like, basically trying to paint portraits and, body nudes. And after this happens, like, after he gets mugged, everything gets kind of like a lot closer. And what kind of binds them, strangely enough, is their meanness, their awkwardness towards each other. Because Greg Kinnear is an extraordinarily sweet and trusting person, allowing this model to come into his home and allowing him to basically just like stay overnight all the time, and it just kind of sets him up for the worst when it comes down to this model actually being like a really, really bad guy. Jack Nicholson, on the other hand, it's strange because he doesn't have that filter that people have when trying to, when talking to other people, and like you have something like really, really curt to say that's like could be very, very mean and offensive. He just doesn't have that filter, and he just doesn't get when he says something really, really stupid, which is, honest to God, it's kind of like, it's sad and it's sweet and it's funny. Like, that's where the comedy comes in, is where Jack Nicholson's character, it seems so realistic. Like, Jack Nicholson's just like, every time he refers to Greg Kinnear's character, he can't help but to reference him as like, oh, the gay man. He's bringing over his little dog again, and he's just like, he's such a closed-minded character that he always makes fun of every single person, like every different ethnicity than he is, and he has this like weird skipping thing when he's walking. I'm talking a lot about the plot, because the plot itself is just kind of like, take three characters that should normally never be friends, but see what happens when they actually get to be friends. And that's what I like about this movie. It's kind of an original premise in the fact that, like, these friends should not be friends, but they are friends just by circumstance, and like they kind of lean on each other in different ways when like bad things happen to them. Like Ray Kinnear's character goes through this really, really, really upsetting home invasion, while Helen Hunt, she is really, really desperate for, like, love and attraction, and Jack Nicholson is lovable in the fact that, like, whenever people aren't around, like, when he's taking care of this dog, you can actually get to see what his real character is like. Like, his character is, like, he's really, really sweet. Like, every time he's playing the piano, he notices that the dog is, like, staring at him, and he starts falling in love with this little puppy, when at first he's, like, sitting there, like, saying all this, like, mean, terrible shit, but in reality, behind all of that, like, unfiltered aggression that he has, he's really, really extremely sweet. Now, I'll tell you the truth. Originally, when I saw this movie, I did not like it. But I didn't appreciate the fact that the characters, I did not appreciate how ridiculous an idea to me it is to stick someone who would be like a complete homophobe who makes fun of gay people and put him together with a friend with an extraordinarily sweet and very, very fragile gay guy, and put them together as friends and see what happens. It's hilarious. It's absolutely ridiculous, because it's just like, he's not a homophobe like, I'm gonna beat up some gay guys. It's like, he's a homophobe in like the sense that he's like, his mind is just like so wrapped around the idea that he's gay, he must be extraordinarily different than me, and like make a bunch of like these like rude, mean jokes and shit like that. It's so hard to say my likes and dislikes about this movie because it's just reviewing comedies, and essentially this one, it's just like what I like about it is just the original premise, the idea that friends don't have to like each other to be friends, but they can lean on each other, and that's what these characters do, like, because all of them go through, like, a sort of heartbreak throughout the film, and, like, even though, like, naturally in the real world, these people will be at each other's necks, and in the nicest way possible, this movie shows that they would be at each other's necks, even though that they would love each other. I'm gregarganda, and I give it as good as it gets, one huge thumb up. It's kind of like, it's realist meets idealist. It's like, these people would not like each other, but when push comes to shove in like the worst situations possible, they really do lean on each other sweetly. And that's what I really love about this movie. Peace.